is enough said.
Happy Taco Tuesday, Heat Nation. Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Guys, please don't forget to show your support. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Now that we got that out of the way, you guys, please join me as we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Guys, thank you so much for the well wishes in the comments. As you can see, the voice is still not 100%, but getting there every step of the way. Hope you guys are having a beautiful Tuesday. Remember, like I always say, if you woke up today, y'all, you're already winning. So whatever negativity is in front of you, just keep your head down, keep a positive mindset, a half glass full mindset, and I promise you, it'll make your day a lot better. Now let's get to Miami Heat basketball. Now, I mean, look, the Heat aren't in the playoffs. You know, first round's up. We saw an incredible game yesterday between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Man, what an incredible comeback by the Knicks. The Knicks are showing you that they're going to be a real team to compete with in this NBA playoffs. So definitely hats off to the New York Knicks. And incredible game between Oklahoma and Denver. You know, Aaron Gordon with another game-winning shot, an incredible game-winning shot. I will say, you guys, the 2025 playoffs have been shaped up to be one of the most entertaining playoffs in a long time. Not the Miami Heat's playoff series, though. That was dog shit, to be honest with you. But hey, moving forward, as we say in sports, as sports fans usually say when you have a bad year, there's always next season. And that's exactly what we're looking into. That's exactly what we're going for. And in today's episode, you guys, I kind of want to get out of the way of the trade, free agency thing. You know, yesterday posted a video about the possibility of the LA Lakers going after Bam Adebayo because there's been a lot of rumors swirling, over the last 3-4 days. And I wanted to touch, give my topic on that, give my notes on that. Guys, I don't think Bam Adebayo is going to get moved. The only way that Bam's going to get moved is for one or two reasons. One, because you are making a superstar smash home run play of a trade. But if you're doing that, you want to keep Bam Adebayo, in my opinion. You don't want to send Bam in a potential trade like that. So, I think it's going to be very difficult for the Heat to trade Bam. The other reason is because, they're just done with it. They're just, all right, this is not working. We can't land a superstar. We can't run it back with this team. So let's see what type of value we can get for Bam. I honestly think for a Bam Adebayo trade, you can get a lot of draft capital. You can get about 4 first-round draft picks, maybe even a few pick swaps after that, maybe a second-round pick, get some young assets. Bam has a lot of value. 27 years old, one of the best versatile two-way players in the NBA. So, no, I don't think the Heat's trading Bam. But the first way that the Miami Heat is going to look to retool this roster, rebuild, reshape, whatever, is the draft. And that's what I want to talk about today, because the Heat are going to have a few options in the draft. They can trade their draft pick. When the 2025 draft becomes available, the Heat will already have 2 tradable first-round draft picks. Now they'll have 3, with the 2025 pick. You can move your 2025, you can move your 29, your 31. You can take multiple first-round draft picks and move it for a potential star. You're going to see a lot of trade rumors. Guys like John Morant, guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, guys like Kevin Durant, Trae Young even. But right now, I want to focus on the draft because there was a report that came out by Yahoo Sports. And this one was really interesting, you guys, because they're predicting that with the 20th pick, the Miami Heat is going to land Florida Gators Walter Clayton Jr. And I'll be honest with you guys, I love this pick. Now, I understand that when you're picking 20th, especially with the season that you have, you kind of want to go 2 options. You either want to go with the best available player if a player falls, or you want to get a positional fit. When I look at this draft, there's 2 positions that I'm looking at. I'm looking for a player that's a point guard, QB1, defensive-minded, 3-point shooting point guard, like a facilitator. I think I think Davion Mitchell is a perfect point guard on this team. And I do like the fit of starting Davion Mitchell next to Tyler Hero as the starting point guard. But the problem that this team was having a lot is not having that third lethal guard. You know, you have Tyler Hero, you have Davion Mitchell, but then you had to fluctuate between players like Alec Burks, Duncan Robinson, sometimes Pelle Larsson. You didn't really have that third consistent guard. So that's why Spo relegated Davion Mitchell to the bench, because I guess the way that Spo saw it was have somebody start next to Tyler for a few minutes, bring Davion off the bench and let Davion cook as your point guard. But you need to draft a point guard who can give you a few things, who can be a quarterback, basically lead your offense, who's a great three-point shooter, and that can hold his own defensively. And I look at Walter Clayton Jr., you guys, and he possesses all of that. 4 years in the Florida Gators, didn't really have a good first year, but his next 3 seasons were super efficient. Averaged 16 points in 17 points in 2023, 17.6 points in 2024, and in this recent season, 2025, 18.3 points a game. You've seen improvement every year. Statistically, everywhere, you've basically seen improvements. In his 2025 season, he averaged 32 points, 32.6 minutes a game, 18.3 points, like I mentioned, 4.2 assists, almost 4 rebounds a game, almost 39% from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line, and almost 45% for the field. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. His steals is usually at about 1.5 averagely a game. You know, he doesn't really commit a lot of turnovers, only 2 a game. Had some monster games in the in March Madness. You know, he had a 23 point game against against the Huskies. He had two 30-point games, a 30-point game, a 34-point game against Auburn, a 30-point game against Texas University, you know, and those all resulted in wins. You know, this guy is winning in a collegiate level. This guy can give you a lot. He gives you the little tools that you need. I love Walter Clayton Jr. Now, I did see him on draft boards getting picked averagely around 13th to 15th. The Heat are picking 20th, so this technically might be considered a drop, but the 2025 draft class, you guys, is loaded. And we've seen a lot of players in the draft, you know, players that are in the boardroom, you know, that are looked to get picked in the lottery. They're not picked sometimes. They fall down. Last year, to give you one example, Kyle Filipowski, a guy that everybody thought was going to go in the mid, you know, in like the mid-level in the first round. We talked about him here on Miami Heat Talk. He ended up picking up in the second round. There was a little drama surrounding his name, but players do drop. And if you put a Walter Clayton Jr. on this Miami Heat team, and now you have a three-headed monster in Tyler Hero, Davion Mitchell, and Walter Clayton. Maybe you can sprinkle in Pelle Larsson. You know, you can bring back Alec Burks. You know, Duncan Robinson may be back, but those players would be considered a fourth guard. That is one thing that the Miami Heat were lacking. You know, you had Tyler Hero and Davion Mitchell giving you 35 minutes or more a night, but then you had a little bit of dry minutes. You know, sometimes Alec Burks would heat up. He's a microwave sometimes. Sometimes Duncan Robinson would heat up. Sometimes Pelle Larsson would have a good game. But these guys were not consistent on an every game level. Not like Davion Mitchell and Tyler Hero. So if he drops, and if Walter Clayton is there with the 20th pick, I think it works. I think in Spo's system, this kid can get better, and he could potentially be a starting point guard level player for this Miami Heat team. I think Davion Mitchell is amazing. Drew Smith, bringing back Drew Smith, like that fourth point guard that we were talking about, it could be Drew Smith. You know, this is supposed to be a Miami Heat culture. The toughest, the nastiest, the most hardworking, the best conditioned team. Like, that embodies this Miami Heat culture. And having players like Davion Mitchell, Drew Smith, Haywood Highsmith, Pelle Larson, these are the guys that are going to embody that type of play, the hustle type of plays, the defensive type of plays. And Walter Clayton Jr. fits in that. Now, we're going to be talking about more players before the draft because, like I mentioned, the Heat, in my opinion, the Miami Heat need one or two things. You need a point guard, but you also need a big man. You have Bam Adebayo, you have Kel'el Ware, but besides that, and what we saw in the playoffs, lacking size, man. I know Nikola Jovic is 6'10" or 6'11", but we need to realize that Nikola Jovic is not a real center type of player. You know, he's his own type of player. You know, he's kind of a wing. He's a 3-point shooter. He's not known for his strength. He's a great option to have, but you need a little bit more strength, a little bit more size. So we're going to get into that into the next episode. But today, I specifically wanted to talk about a point guard, and I think Walter Clayton Jr. could be a great fit in this Miami Heat team. So Heat Nation, let me know what you think. What are your thoughts about Walter Clayton Jr.? What do you know about him? Do you think he'd be a good fit? Maybe there's somebody else you'd like more. There's a lot of point guards that are fitting around that level. A Nolan Traore, Edgar DeMoore. So there's a lot of different point guards that may be available there. Jeremiah Fears would be the end-all, be-all, but he's, his position has gone up. He's going to get taken like top 12. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please, guys, don't forget to support the channel. Like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Love you guys. Thank you for the support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said.